The last big piece here as we start chapter 11, or as we finish chapter 11, that we want to take a look at is the origins of the Holocaust. And I know we're all familiar with images of the Holocaust, things that we've seen before, where we're looking at images, that are catastrophic in their description, things that defy imagination, the kind of stuff that you see in horror movies. But we want to spend this lesson not so much talking about the actual Holocaust itself. I mean, we know the nuts and bolts of that, but we want to investigate whether or not this could have been prevented. I mean, could the kinds of tragedies that we're so used to seeing in these movies, even in the books that we read, whether it's Night or whether it is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas or Schindler's List or something else, could we have prevented that? And so we want to take a look here in this last lesson at the Nazi persecution of the Jews, and we want to try and answer some of these essential questions in terms of why do some people respond to injustice and why others don't. I mean, why do some people want to stop this kind of thing from happening, and why others not care? So we've got a couple of things we're going to take a look at here throughout the course of this this lesson to help us kind of understand why it is that some people really are upset about the Holocaust and while others allow it to happen. So let's see kind of what our background is here and how we can put this together. The first thing that we need to recognize here is that yes, the Holocaust does kill 6 million Jews, but that's not the only group of people that are targeted. There are gypsies, there are the disabled, there are people who are from Eastern Europe, whether you're just not German, you're not Aryan. Christians who even oppose Hitler are put into concentration camps and later liquidated. But what I need you to understand for the purpose of this is that even though we have all these other groups that are definitely persecuted, all these other groups that definitely are killed, the Nazi hatred, pure loathing of the Jew is beyond the kind of common anti-Semitism that we see in Europe. Hatred of the Jew. We're going way beyond what we've traditionally seen before. And I think that's one reason why, when it comes to the Jewish people themselves, why some are unable to see this pattern happening, why they don't suspect that the Holocaust is coming. In more detail, the first inkling, aside from the regular kind of anti-Semitism that the Nazi Party promotes, that things might be a little bit different, are the Nuremberg laws. These are laws that, in their broadest sense, take away citizenship from German Jews. But it does a bunch of other things as well. You can't marry if you are a Jew and a non-Jew. You can't hold public office. You can't vote. Essentially what we're saying here is that you go to bed the night before these laws take place, a German citizen, able to do all of these things. You wake up the next day, and you're not German anymore. At least not legally. Your name is forcefully changed if it doesn't sound Jewish enough. Your passport is marked with a J to show that you're Jewish. Within 3 years, most of the jobs that Jews can hold have been limited, half of them out of work. Because these laws, the Nuremberg laws, clearly denote who is a Jew and who isn't. This particular chart we'll take a look at in class in a little more detail. I just want you to take a look at it now and see if you can figure out, what does it show you? This is a graphic organizer of the Nuremberg laws. This is a way to think of the Nuremberg laws visually. So take a look at this here, and then we'll talk more about it in class. But I just wanted you to get a feel for what it is that you're looking at here. Okay? So, Jews stay in Germany, even with these Nuremberg laws that do all kinds of things that kind of ban your citizenship and deny you jobs, things like that. So why? Well, because they're German, right? Just because you go to bed and you wake up the next day and you're legally not a German citizen anymore doesn't mean you're somehow less German. It's like me going to bed and waking up and someone saying, "Hey, you're not American." But yeah, I am, right? I mean, I was born here, I was raised here, I'm American in my culture, in my mind, in my heart. I'm American. I'm no less American just because you change a law. And look, these Nuremberg laws, that's a long way from like here where we're saying, okay, like we're definitely prejudiced against you in the jobs you can hold, and we're going to punish you and take away your citizenship. And over here, which is, like the Holocaust, it's destruction, it's death, it's genocide. It's a long way between those two things, right? I mean, it's a big gap. And it's not like Jews hadn't seen this kind of thing before. This map that I have right here is interesting because what this shows you are the cities and the countries that have expelled Jewish people long before the Holocaust. This map just takes a look at 1100 to 1800 AD. It doesn't even deal with the 1900s. Any city that has a triangle marked on it has a substantial Jewish population. So you can see there, I mean, there's Jewish people all over Europe, right? The ones with the circles have purposefully expelled Jews. Do you remember all the way back, I think it was like chapter 4, we talked about that immigrant Alfred? We read his story. He was amazed by the Woolworth Tower and the subway. Do you remember him saying there was a pogrom in his village, in his city in Russia? This is what we were talking about, where for hundreds of years the Jews were not welcome in Europe, and that when times were bad, they were targeted, and they were kicked out of their cities and towns. So if you're Jewish, and your ancestors have been kicked out of Poland and Russia and Germany and France and Italy and Spain and Great Britain and Belgium and the Netherlands and Romania and Hungary, and all of a sudden the Germans come along, and you can see, right, just how many happened in this area of Germany, quite a lot. And all of a sudden the Nazis show up and they're doing the same thing. Well, haven't you seen this play before? And it always kind of works out. It's not great. It's bad. But it's not Holocaust bad. So there's lots of reasons why Jews stay. And let's take a look here at how we go from this to the actual Holocaust then.